Oh my God, the Canelo fans, they was crying in there. They was crying. Kenny Porter, add him to the list. He says that Canelo Alvarez moving up to cruiserweight, it's a duck. He's ducking Jermall Charlo, David Benavidez, and I'm gonna talk about that in this video. Stay tuned. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Throw a like on the video. It's free, it's quick, it's simple. It takes a few of your seconds, but it really helps to encourage others to find the content. So, Kenny Porter, he just did an interview. We'll get to that. And he says that Canelo's ducking. He really doesn't understand the motion to say you're going to go up and plan on going up to cruiserweight. You know, without further ado, roll the clip.
I just want to get you the whole Canelo jumping up to 190. I haven't got any trainer's opinions yet on him wanting to fight.
I don't know why he would do that. Why wouldn't he just continue to fight the top fighters that he hasn't fought already? But if he's doing that, I'm going to say it's a duck.
You think it's a duck from David?
If you moving up there, and you know, you could at least say, okay, I'm gonna take one more fight with a Charlo or one more fight with a Benavidez, and then I'll move up. But if you just gonna move up without fighting them guys at all, you know, it looks like a duck, it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
Oh man, talk to him, Kitty. Now, the Canelo Chupapi Muñeños. Oh man, it's looking bad. The walls are closing in for Canelo Alvarez. You see the faces and the people of boxing really hone in and start to see what I've told you guys on the channel. The great Ego Stradamus strikes again. The way Canelo is moving is really unexplainable. It doesn't make sense. And Kenny brought up a great point, which is what I said as well, that Canelo Alvarez, if you cleaned up house and beat the danger zones in or around your division, not just Caucasian fighters that he had to become undisputed only, you know, and you had that diversity and you fought the names that fans are clamoring for and have been asking for, like Jermall Charlo, David Benavidez, Beterbiev, Demetrius Andrade. Then you have the keys to the city. You are free to do as you please. You could really move about boxing and nobody would complain. So when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, it's really, a lot of it too is the order of operations. It's how he's going about it. Like he said he wanted to be undisputed at 160. He could have been undisputed. Man, Canelo would have been, listen, the difference with Canelo is this. There's other fighters who genuinely want, like Terrence Crawford, he probably wants to fight all the top names, but because of the politics and size of the streets and different things, which he's still part of that conversation. There's things that Terrence Crawford, in my opinion, could have done differently to liken his chances or heighten his chances of getting some of those fights. He has a great fight this weekend with Shawn Porter, and we just heard from Shawn Porter's dad and trainer, Kenny Porter. But the point I'm making is there's guys in boxing, the Jerron Boots Ennis. Let Jerron Boots Ennis, if he was in the driver's seat and full and complete control, he probably would have got a bigger fight that the fans want to see him fight as of right now. But in boxing, it's a business, so you have to go through the motions. Jerron Ennis represents a high level of danger, and he's just going to keep putting in work and climb up the ladder to the point where the guys with the bigger names have no choice but to fight him. the same cannot be said for Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is one of the few fighters, and he's in a different position where any fight that he wants, he could really pursue and get. So he's in an extraordinary position, and this is how he's choosing to utilize that, right? Canelo could fight right now David Benavidez. You know, you got to make an offer that makes sense and things like that. But as long as the B-side is taken care of in their regard, because we know the B-side is not going to get more money than Canelo Alvarez. He can make a Benavidez fight. He can make a Jermall Charlo fight, Demetrius Andrade, etc. He can make all of these fights, no questions asked. But instead, what he's choosing to do is skip around and play these different games and tiptoe and walk over eggshells around opponents to fight these fights that he's saying these are the special fights. Now, the funny thing is, Canelo is attempting to do something we haven't really seen done in boxing history. He's attempting to, as the fighter, tell the fans what they need to see despite what the fans are requesting from him. The fans are asking you to fight David Benavidez and Jermall Charlo and Benavidez, and you know, Max Kellerman said he wants to see Benavidez and Canelo. It'd be an iconic fight. But Canelo's telling you, no, you don't need to see these fights. You need to see me go fight Macabooty or whatever, you know? And that's just not where it's at. So now the walls are closing in for Canelo Alvarez, and you're seeing more and more fighters, trainers, and respected individuals speak out in the world of boxing. And I told you these moments were coming. The great ego Stradamus strikes again, right? At the end of the day, it doesn't make sense. Kenny Porter is right. Like, out of all the people you could potentially fight, this is who you're choosing to fight. You know, out of everybody. Nobody knew who this guy was like that, and it wasn't a big name, and you're saying, hey, it's a duck. It is what it is. The Canelo fans, I see them every video like this. You see the Canelo fans flagging it up. And the funny thing is, YouTube is getting rid of the dislikes for various reasons like this, because sometimes you could have these raids in the comment section and or in the dislike button, and it's not a good indication of the real video, because in this interview, you look at the dislikes and people are disliking what Kenny Porter is saying. But as I've stated, the downside for Canelo Alvarez is no matter what you say, no matter what you try to do, you can dislike the video. As I always say, you can dislike, but you can't disprove. So more and more people are speaking out. More and more people are seeing what Canelo is doing and that he's not fighting. Just this week, Antonio Tarver, you know, Teddy Atlas, Max Kellerman, Kenny Porter, Tim Bradley, Boxingego, and a slew of other people. You can't just make up your own history and go in a completely different direction that's not even a direction that the fans want to buy. And see, here's another thing, is no matter what the Canelo fans say, if Canelo Alvarez does end up fighting the Macaboo guy, right? Then I project the numbers to be low, which is more of an indication that Canelo is not fulfilling his role as, you know, whatever, the face of boxing or whatever he's supposed to be. Because if you were doing all these death-defying things and you're this daredevil and you're giving the fans what they want, the numbers would generally show if you're already an established star, right? Canelo's already an established name. And in my opinion, and we'll see when the time comes, he just did great numbers with Showtime and Caleb Plant and a great live gate. All that will be on the decline if he fights Macaboo. All that'll be on the decline. So all like, and it's funny to see the Canelo fans are so petty, and a lot of them are so miserable that they don't care as long as Canelo, for some reason it's a game. Even though the PBC looked to have worked and it made Canelo look better by him fighting at least the Caleb Plant on the PBC. The Canelo fight fans, a lot of them, they're like, oh, they want Canelo to stay away from PBC for whatever reason because they think it's a game, even if it means that Canelo's stock will go back down and he'll fight a lesser fight possibly in Africa where they as fans probably won't even be able to get to the fight. So it's just funny to see these games and what the Canelo fans are happy with that he decides to do, you know, and I'm convinced that when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, some of his fans really don't care who he fights. He could fight a girl, you know, he could fight a transgender. It doesn't matter. They're going to find a way to justify why that's the right fight. Because all this Macaboo talk, Canelo can decide right now and hear the concerns and say, man, I can't fight Macaboo. It's not being received well, and not fight. And then the fans that are Canelo fans that advocated for him to fight Macaboo and said this was a great move, then they're just gonna fall in line and then act like whoever else he picks, Rocky Fielding or, you know, whatever guy he picks, they're gonna act like that's the good fight. We've seen it with the Caleb Plant situation. Negotiations for Caleb Plant fight in September, they fell apart, so it looked like the fight was scrapped and it wasn't gonna happen. Then the rumor was he was gonna fight Dimitri Bivol at 75, and then the Canelo fans said, oh yeah, I like this fight. I like the Bivol fight. This is a better and tougher fight than Caleb Plant. And then Caleb Plant came back in the picture because Canelo doubled back and went back to the Al Heyman stable and said, I want to be undisputed. I want to fight Caleb Plant. And then they made the Plant fight. But what happened to all the people said they liked the Bivol fight? Now he got past Caleb Plant, and Bivol, Benavidez, obviously Andrade, Charlo, Benavidez, the other fights people are clamoring for, they all take a back seat while Canelo does these weird moves like Kenny Porter is saying, it's a duck. You had all this, like, if you don't have to go to 20, 30 pounds up or whatever it is, right, to meet danger. There's danger looking at you in your face. So that's how we know Canelo likes to be in these controlled situations to maximize his chance of winning. He wants to sell this as a historic fight and all that, and fight the weakest link in a new division, so he can say, oh, hey, I'm a 5-division champion, but you're not getting it like the true multi-division champions. Like Amanda Serrano even, she's fighting real competition, and she's like a 9-division champion or something. Pacquiao, he fought real competition, even in the higher weights. He didn't just go to, like, for example, Pacquiao's a great example. You look at, I want to sub to my promoter. You look at Manny Pacquiao. His highest weight that he achieved, the person he fought was Antonio Margarito, somebody who's certified, right? And who was probably cheating, right? You go to Canelo, you look at his highest weight, it's going to be Macaboo and a washed up Sergey Kovalev. Oh, Canelo, you're funny. Let me know what you guys think. Kenny Porter said he's ducking the walls and closing in for the Canelo fans. And I'm out. You tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster.